What is going on, guys? Part 2 of the Michael Lab Show. Actually, episode 216, but this is my second attempt, my second go-round at this episode. I was spewing off some nonsense earlier. That's not true. I was only spitting facts. That's what we do here on this show. Welcome to episode 216. I got about 2 minutes into my prior one. Dog decided to spaz. And normally I would just talk through it. Normally I would just grit my teeth and I just let it flow. But I didn't today. And the reason why I didn't do it today is because she was on a rampage. And I was only 2 minutes into it. And only being 2 minutes into it, I was like, you know what? Let's just restart it. In addition to that, I also didn't have my Christmas lights up behind me. And can't do a podcast without Christmas lights because that's the show. The show is Christmas lights. What's going on, everybody? It's been weird. It's been fascinating. Within this past week, this podcast hasn't exploded in numbers, but it has gained a lot more attention. And I don't know exactly what that is from. It could be from a lot of things. It could be just more content equals higher chance of people viewing it. It could be people are telling friends and family about the podcast. It could be I've hit like some type of little algorithm and the podcast is like getting a lot more views now. But it's been fun. It's been fun. And that's why you do things day in and day out, because you remember watching Les Strauss, the little Survivor Man dude? And he would be surviving, I don't know, like some cold place, like the tundra, like some tundra place. And he's over there. He's like, "Oh, I'm so cold." He doesn't speak like that. I think he speaks like a full-blown American. So he's like, "Oh, I'm cold. I need some fire. What do I do to get fire? I need fire. I need fire. I need fire." And what he does is he gets a stick, puts a little hole in the stick, like a little flat stick, puts a little hole in it, gets another stick, pops that stick in there, and he rubs it out. And as he's rubbing it out, it doesn't happen in the first minute. It doesn't happen in the first 5 minutes. It doesn't happen in the first 10 minutes. It takes a while. It takes a while for a stick to develop and turn into fire. And that's how you got to look at that's how you got to look at projects. That's how you got to look at things. You can rub that stick, and yeah, you could possibly light a spark, right in the first second. You could light a spark, that's how it works. But it may take an hour. It may take days. It may take years to light that spark. But once you got that spark, the thing is with that spark is once you got the spark going, you can't stop. You got to keep feeding the fire. You got to keep feeding the spark, or the spark will die out on you. But if you keep attempting to make the spark, and then once you have a little spark, you increase your speed of making the spark, man, you're going to go somewhere. So that's me. That's Zig Ziglar here. Tony Robbins here, telling you to get after it. Make today the best day. It's freaking Tuesday, dude. It's August 10th. I just dropped $1,300 on school. I think it's completely useless, but, that's what you got to do, man. That's what you got to do. You got to spend $1,300 on a education so you can get a job and you can pay for things. You can pay your taxes, bruh. Yeah, so that's that. I don't actually think it's useless. I think it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's okay. I want to be in school. I want to learn. So that's that. I'm excited. It's a good feeling to be in school. I feel like I'm being productive for society. I feel like I'm giving back. And, giving back is all I want to do in my life, is give back. So that's why I give back 90 minutes of my voice every week to people so they can listen to me talk. So what is happening? It's been a lot has gone on since I've spoken to you people. A lot has gone on. I'm going to get into it a little bit here. Nobody yell at me. More than 100 points as oil prices fall 4%. So what's been going on locally? So I don't know how many counties, how many states, I guess just counties, have mandated mask again. I was listening to this guy, Dr. Actually, no. No, okay. So I was listening to this guy on Squawk Box. His name is Dr. Gottlieb, I believe. He was a former FDA commissioner. And he was I think I might have talked about this on the podcast. He was saying that we're about a month behind the UK and everything in regards to COVID spikes. And if you look at the graphs between us and the United Kingdom, we are, right? Like the percentage of people vaccinated, the percentage of people who have COVID, the way the COVID rises, we're about a month behind United Kingdom on everything. And so he's saying that the peak time of COVID is going to be, next week it's going to be about, he says it's going to be mid-August. So that could, like the 15th to the 25th. So around that time is going to be peak. Did I say peak August? I meant peak COVID. That's when he says the number's going to get an all-time high. He also said that whatever the numbers show, times that by 10, because it's actually what COVID is. He's saying if you're seeing 1,000 cases a day, it's actually 10,000 cases a day, which is fascinating because that sounds like, oh my God, but and put that in perspective. If we're actually hitting a million, so if we have 100,000 cases that like we've been getting for a few days, I think Sunday was only 35,000. Monday would be higher because people get tested after the weekend. But so like if we got 100,000 cases, he's saying it's actually 1 million cases a day, which sounds it sounds terrible, right? But if you put that in perspective, okay. So the hospitalization numbers that we have, those are accurate, right? Like those are really hard to fudge, right? Because you're in the hospital, right? It's not like if you're supposed to be in the hospital, you're not going to avoid the hospital. Like I don't care how much you like hate the vaccines. I don't care how much like you hate Joe Biden and how much you hate these vaccines or whatever whatever your feelings are. I don't care how extreme they are one way or the other. But if you need to go to the hospital, you're going to go to the hospital. You don't want to die, right? Otherwise you would just shoot yourself. So then you don't have to go to the hospital. But you would just go to the hospital. So you can't really fudge those numbers. But you can fudge people who get COVID because people who, especially if you've been vaccinated, the symptom, I'm way out of my expertise here. This video is going to get flagged now. Anyways, but that's a good sign, right? If 1 million people have COVID and the hospitalization numbers are what they are and the deaths are what they are, because deaths like haven't, U.S. COVID deaths, they haven't really gone up at all. Yeah, they've gone up slightly. So I guess, okay. So about 516 a day average during July is about 205. So yeah, we have doubled it actually. So I'm wrong there. But anyways, Dr. Gottlieb, before I just start putting in my own opinions, Dr. Gottlieb saying we're about halfway, or that we're going to be going down in August. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. I like that. That's a good call. That makes me happy. That makes me feel good. And then Mark Cuban comes on, PhD, Mark Cuban. I'm kidding. He doesn't have a PhD. But he was saying, which is fascinating. He was saying, he was saying that if you do the math, the COVID numbers are going up because as people get vaccinated, and there's been simultaneously as COVID vaccines been going up, people have been getting vaccinated, there's also has been no restrictions, right? We've been fully open for about 2.5 months now, almost 3 months, 2.5 months or 3 months. 100% capacity. So if you take, so the numbers of breakthrough cases, just in Maryland alone, this is from the CDC, is 0.112 breakthrough cases, right? So let's just do the math real quick. That's in Maryland alone. So let's just use that as a national average. So let's say United States, U.S. COVID vaccines. And let's just do first dose. So let's say 194.86 million people have been vaccinated. So 195 million people have been vaccinated. So let's just do quick little math real quick. 195 million people have been vaccinated. 0.12%, at least in Maryland, is a breakthrough case. So we're going to use that number to replicate the United States number because I'm sure it's pretty close to that. 0.0012. There'd be over 234,000 people who've been vaccinated or who've gotten COVID just from a breakthrough case. 0.12% is of 195 million is 234,000 people. So just breakthrough cases alone, that's how many people are going to get COVID if you've been vaccinated. Just off the numbers from the CDC that Governor Hogan shared last Thursday. So that's only fit 60% of the population. So if we have 330 million people, that means there's 195, 330 million, 5, 100, 100, 135 million people who haven't got the vaccine, right? So if you, I mean, you can do the math. You can start to see like how these numbers make sense. And I guess all I'm saying is like as these number of cases go up, all the other metrics are not like going crazy. Like people are surviving. The death rate isn't going crazy. Like the hospitalizations are up a little bit, but we know how to get people in and out of the hospitals. Anyways, it's just fascinating that Dr. Gottlieb is saying that we're going to we're going to get through this and we're going to be on the downside. And but what's really fascinating is that in the state of Maryland, when Governor Hogan went ahead and lifted the mask mandate, he also put out something like the day after, and I could pull it up right here on my phone, because I want to be very accurate as possible. He also mandated a policy that basically said no local government. Let me look it up here. Okay, so this is what he said. This is on. He put this out. This came out March 10th. Governor Larry Hogan's order yesterday lifted capacity limits and also revoked local jurisdiction authority to issue more restrictive local orders under the state's authority, rendering the county's most recent executive order, number 43, null and void as of 5 p.m. Friday, March 12th. So he essentially said local government cannot enforce mask policies. They can't do it. They can't do it. They don't have jurisdiction over it. But if it's like if it's not a private, but private businesses can. In addition to that, like taxpayer buildings can. So like right when Governor Hogan came out Thursday, he basically said, it's not about masks. It's not about lockdowns. Just get the damn vaccine. That's kind of his thing. Like that's Governor Hogan's catchphrase is wear the damn mask, get the damn vaccine, which I think is kind of going against the message that like people who don't want to get the vaccine, I think like using slur, that's not a slur, but using like a curse, it's not even a curse word, but using the word damn, I think you're making them not want to get the vaccine more and more. So I don't know if I don't know who's part of your marketing team, Hogan, but I don't think that's the best way to do it. I'm also not a state what do you guys call pundits? No. A state official. I'm not a state official. So don't listen to me. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah, but then like Anne Arundel County, so Stuart Pittman, the dude of Anne Arundel County, he comes out and says you got to wear masks now, and you got to wear 1 second. Okie dokie, I have about 25 minutes left on the podcast. Just got to talk to her. She's on her way back now. 27 minutes. So and then PG County and Montgomery County went ahead and enforced the mask policy back. So I don't know what leg they have to stand on. I don't know the legalities of that. It seems illegal. I don't know how that's working out, because it seems like they don't have the authority to do that, but they just don't give a damn and they're just going to do it anyways. So I'm fascinated to see like how that goes down. I'm fascinated to see if like what Hogan's doing about that. I'm also fascinated to see if because people probably don't know that at all. Like, only 15.5% of the world has been vaccinated. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. When people start freaking out about vaccinations, there's like this weird thing, and then I'll get off of COVID. I want to read a few things to you guys from the book I just finished. But like when people think about COVID, they think of like America, like the only country who refuses to get the vaccine. This is not an American issue, bro. Like it's not. Like if you see what's going on in Australia, bro, like they have military walking the streets where you can't walk outside. Like you can't even go outside, dude. Like it's crazy. It's crazy what's going on in other countries. Italy just full on protesting. France full on protest. Like you saw what happened in France this past week when Japan went ahead and shut down the Olympics. Like the French people in Paris came out and like lost their minds. And like lost their minds just to welcome in the Olympics for 2024. And you're watching this like, what the hell? Like that's crazy, because France is, I'm pretty sure they also have like crazy vaccine mandates and stuff like that. Let me see what their France, I love when she barks. France COVID vaccine. Yeah, so 65.6% of the country has been vaccinated. France COVID. And they've been going in the middle of a spike right now, and then at the same time they have like this they go ahead and they all lose their minds because of 2024. Like it's not going anywhere. We're always gonna have COVID. It's here to stay. We just got to deal. Like I don't know. I sound crazy every time I talk about it, but I just think at this point, man, we can help people in the hospital. If you're healthy, if you live a healthy lifestyle, like this is the thing that I think bothers me the most. I've seen, and I'm not judging. I'm just setting out what I see. I see people every day, the people who are putting the mask on immediately, even when they don't have to, but even when just putting the mask on, I see it. The people who do it are the people who are immune compromised, right? But a lot of them are like so overweight, and I'm not like, and I'm there's got to be a point where we eventually go like, hey, we got to get over like this body, like positivity, body shaming bullshit. Like there's people dying. 73% of people who died of COVID, or maybe not 70. It was either 73% of percentage of people who died of COVID that were obese. CDC, race, ethnicity. I don't care. I just want a number. Having obesity increases the risk. People are overweight may also be increased risk. I just want to see the numbers, bro. Who is most vulnerable? Obesity and COVID statement fact. Do overweight people account for most? This is a fact check, dude. Like, get out of here with your fact checks. We know that fat people die more. I think it was 73%. Let me look it up on my phone real quick, because it's a really astounding number. And this comes from the CDC. This comes from exactly what they're saying. I think I put it on screenshots. Let me pull it up real quick here. And I am obese technically, so here you go. This is from the San Diego Union Tribune, July 29th. The CDC published a report that 73% of deceased COVID-19 patients had obesity or were overweight. 73% of people who died of COVID were obese or overweight. 73%. That's a lot of people. And I'm not saying like, I'm not, what I'm saying is we have to take a more Eastern medicine view on this. And I think right now we're in the thralls of it, right? So we're dealing with it every day. It's bothering us. It's on the news all day. But I think in time, the biggest lessons we're going to learn from this, the biggest lessons we're going to learn from this is stay off social media. But I think I'm kidding. The biggest lesson we're going to learn from this is health. Or if we don't, next one's going to wipe us all out. But the health, dude. This country is so fat. We are the fattest country. Let me look at the fattest country in the world. Nauru. 61% of the country's fat. Dude, I'm look up a real island. I'm just kidding. That's fucked up. Yeah, look, I mean, these numbers are just crazy, dude. So all the islands, Samoa, yeah, okay. So all the islands in the Philippines are fat as fuck. Jesus Christ, yeah, y'all be fat as hell, man. Y'all be fat as hell. Let me just look it up. United States obesity rate 2021. Mississippi. Okay, here we go. According to the CDC, approximately 37% of American adults aged 20 and older were obese based on 2015-2016 data. 37.9% of men and 41.1% of women are fat. Yo, women, you're fat as hell. You guys gotta lose weight, dog. You guys gotta lose weight. Nauru is a Pacific island nation with roughly 10,000 inhabitants. 61% are fat. Island people are fat, and I don't know why. They're just thick human beings. Let me look that up. Why are Pacific Islanders prone to obesity? Okay, a relatively sedentary lifestyle, including among children, is also contributing to rising obesity rates. Obesity in the Pacific Islands is also thought to be influenced by cultural factors, tambu foods, including poor public education on diet, exercise, and health. Micronutrient deficiencies. Why are people in Hawaii fat? Contributing factors to obesity include the social and physical environment, genetics, medical history, and behaviors such as poor diet and physical inactivity. Childhood maltreatment has also been identified as a risk factor. What is Tambu foods? What the hell is that? This is such a random fucking podcast. What is Tambu, not Ambu? Whoa. Mutton flaps are killing Tonga. Mutton flaps. What is Tonga? Oh, what is the Samoan diet? Okay, the Samoans traditionally base their diet on breadfruit, banana, taro, yam, coconut, supplement fish, and shellfish from coral leaves. So a lot of starch. Yo, that food looks good as hell, though. That is some thick food, though. Yeah, I could totally... Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. It's nachos? Is that what you Samoans eat? It's just nachos? You don't just munch on nachos all day? Let me look it up. Traditional Samoan dish. See what it looks like. A traditional Samoan dish that are sure to invade your taste buds. Lari or palusami. Coconut milk baked in taro leaves. Looks fine. Fia Alina, fish and coconut cream. That sounds good. What is this famous dish? Diced cucumbers, onions, and tomatoes add to the already flavorful dish apart from the exotic taste of coconut cream. That looks good. Sweet coconut bread. That looks insane. See that, but that's what will make you fat, bro. This is an everyday bread dish from Samoa and is popular as a healthy breakfast menu. Healthy. Typically consumed in almost all common Polynesian households. The puffy texture and the sweet taste makes this finger food quite unique, along with the coconut milk and the flakes. That sounds. It's called fa'apapa. 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 That looks amazing. Fa'azu. Bread coated with coconut sauce. Jesus Christ. You're deep frying your bread with breading? Deep frying your bread with breading. What's going on, Samoans? This is nothing but the fa'apa bread so it's the bread coated in a sweet and rich coconut caramel sauce. This is a favorite snack or resort dish, equally popular at the holidays and gatherings, including wedding. The tender bread soaked in the exotic caramel sauce makes it extremely delicious and it's bound to make its own special place in the gourmet heart. Sweet dessert dumplings from Samoa. Yo, you guys love sweet food. That's what's happening. You guys love them desserts. You love those desserts, bro. And no shame. I'm not throwing shade. I'll smack a dessert in the face too. Kopai. Kopai is a type of dumpling that can be cooked in many different ways. With coconut milk, caramel sauce, syrups. Not only that, kopai can be of various colors too, depending on the ingredient used. These are small, tender balls that will melt in your mouth. Pause. The taste, again, varies mainly depending on how it has been prepared. However, the basic texture remains unaltered. Homemade bread rolls. Jesus, pani popo. You guys don't eat meat. Here's the issue with this Samoans. You guys don't eat meat. There's no land animals. Do Samoans eat land animals? Do Samoans eat land animals? Samoans, what land animals live in Samoa? Flying foxes, rare Pacific pigeons and doves, seaboard skinks. Wow. They have a lot of whales and porpoises. Oh, and they've been influenced by globalization. I believe that. That's fascinating. So they eat a lot of carbs, a lot of sugar. They don't eat a lot of like pigs and cows and like horse. Horse. I don't know if horse. That's more like a Mongolian dish. What's the other one? Chicken. It's mostly just sweets. The pani popo, homemade bread rolls. This is also kind of bread dish prepared from coconut milk and flour and is then rolled. The output is a fluffy bun that is often served in small cuts. The bread can be consumed with side dishes or just by itself. However, it tastes the best when consumed hot soon after baking. No shit. Sweet banana fritters. Panakiki. is a culture food from the country. Can be described as small, perfectly round fritters, deep fried in oil in a wok, and served hot. These are a favorite snack of the Polynesians people and can be prepared at home or sold as a street food. The flavor of ripe banana and flour combined with the aromas of other ingredients, including vanilla, adds this very special taste to the fried dish. The addition of baking powder leaves the balls crispy. I like crispy balls. Sapasoi. Samoan chop suey. So this looks like it has meat. This is simply a different version of chop suey in a Samoan lifestyle. Like the other versions, including the American and Chinese chop suey, this one is also made with noodles, soy sauce, meat, and vegetables, and is a favorite dish to almost all Samoans. The subtle flavor of soybeans go well with the added vegetables, including mung beans, and additionally the aroma of minced or finely chopped meat guarantees an unforgettable taste. What is chop suey, though? Chop suey. I don't know what it is. Is a dish in American Chinese cuisine and other forms of overseas Chinese cuisine consisting of meat and eggs cooked quickly with vegetables such as bean sprouts, cabbage. I like that. I like how it doesn't use chop suey is like low carbs. Use bean sprouts. Carbs. I don't like the carbs. Yeah, I felt so fluffy this morning. 1 cup is only oh damn. I need to get some bean sprouts, bro. I really do. I gotta put that on the list. The amount of books I purchased solely because the author was in Rogan's podcast is absurd. Yeah, dude, I agree. I actually just bought. That's I'm gonna get into. I want to finish. I have like 10 minutes left. 13 minutes left. I just went on a tangent. I literally just got lost. I literally just got lost on nothing. So I want to get into a few things. So I went ahead and so that podcast I listened to with Rogan and Yeonmi Park, greatest podcast I've ever heard in my entire life. There's been a few podcasts I've heard that have changed my life, and maybe the number one still to this day is the first time I heard Jordan Peterson. Rogan had this golden era, and he's still great. I still like listening to Rogan, but he's so popular now. Like he's so like everything he's like Fauci was talking about him like Donald Trump retweeted Donald Trump used clips of Rogan talking about Donald Trump when he was running for president. Bernie Sanders used clips from Rogan to promote him when he was running for president. Tulsi Gabbard, Andrew Yang, like he went through this he went on this huge roller coaster ride and then he just took off to a different planet. So he's so famous now, and he still does a great job just, like, talking from the heart, like, just speaking like a normal human. But he's so famous now, he does have to watch what he says at times. And I don't think he purposely censors himself, but I do think he censors himself now, or at least he's careful with the guest he has on. But at the same time, we did have Alex Jones on just a few months ago, Taylor's Home. But with that being said, he is still my all-time favorite podcaster. To me, he is. I don't like to use the word hero, but to me, he's a man who has steered me on the right path. He's allowed me to think. He's allowed me to feel comfortable with being a weirdo because I'm a weirdo. Like I really do think I'm fundamentally a fucking weirdo. I do weird things. I wear a weird hat right now. Like I'm creative. I don't fit a mold, right? So he had this, and that does actually kind of make me kind of emotional. I've been watching this show called Atypical with this autistic kid who loves penguins, and it's probably one of my favorite shows of all time, if not my favorite show of all time. I love it. It's incredible. The actor's absolutely outstanding. You think the guy is like full blown autistic, but he's not. Anyways, Rogan had this girl on Yeonmi Park who's an escapee or a refugee from not a refugee. I forget what she calls herself. But she talks about North Korea. And when she talks about, dude, she was talking about this shit like YouTube might flag me, but she was telling Rogan that so the Kim Jong-un, the president, the emperor, the king, the ruler of North Korea, it's a dictatorship, right? It's an autocratic dictatorship. There's nobody else above him. He is the dude. He murdered his mentally disabled brother who was most likely going to take the reins once Kim Jong-un. I don't know. Whatever happens to him. If he dies, he's fat. He's young though. He's only like 34, but he's fat and out of shape. But she was talking about these things that like, so the Kim Jong-un, the guy who's under him, so like the vice president or whatever you call him, second in line general, the guy who runs the army, he does this thing where she said once a year, but sometimes even more. He has like these sex parties. And what he does is he invites all the girls from the local city, rips their teeth out, and they just give him like gun blowjobs for hours and days at a time. And that's like kind of what the podcast is about. It was just her talking about like her experience in North Korea. And it was hard to listen to. I paused it probably 4 or 5 times to just kind of stop listening to it, because the things she was saying were so so extreme, so gut-wrenching, so disgusting, so animalistic. Like the things that she was talking about, these kids who because the government doesn't give food out, right? So it's illegal to grow food there because everything's owned by the government. The government doesn't let you grow food on government property. Everything is the government. So what does that mean? Everyone starves to death, and that's exactly what it means. The only way you eat is if you could sneak food, if you can barter food, or you eat anything that's on the ground, crickets, whatever it is, whatever you can find in the dirt, you eat. So, but the kids are the food sources are so low there in North Korea that the way that parents here and I guess everywhere in the world besides North Korea, I've learned a lot about starvation within the past few months. Like I was reading part of this book, and I've read it on the podcast actually, where it talks about starvation is nothing else matters when your stomach is empty. Like nothing, you can't do anything else if your stomach is empty. And you take that, you're like, okay, well that makes sense. Well, you take that to the extreme. When your stomach is so empty, and especially in what she's talking about, the parents don't care about the kids. And the kids start starving. And she was talking about like these orphanages or just these empty warehouses where these kids are just sprawled out on the floor. And I looked up pictures, and they're hard to look at, but I know that everyone should look at them. She said the UN has declared this a genocide. The UN has declared this as a modern day concentration camp, like what the Nazis did to Jews and homosexuals and minorities. I guess I don't know if it was specifically minorities, but I mean everybody that wasn't a blonde, blue-eyed German, they persecuted. And you're seeing that happen right now in North Korea. She was talking about these scenes where these kids are just sprawled out on these cement floors, dirt floors, whatever, just starving to death. They're deteriorating. And these rats, so after these kids die, these rats, if they're not eaten already by people, they eat these kids. She was saying that they eat the eyeballs first. So there's just a floor full of dead kids, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Just a bag of bones with a thin layer of skin on the outside. I can't even imagine like the sounds of kids starving to death by the hundreds. My stupid privileged American mind can't even wrap my head around that. And the rats would eat these kids. And then the kids who were dying would eat the rats and eat the kids. She was saying at these food markets, there's the animals, it's survival of the fittest, and no one's fit because everyone's starving to death. God damn, that's dark. I shouldn't joke about that. Sorry. Everyone's starving to death. That Rogan asked them, is there human meat? Is there human meat? Are you guys cannibalism? She said, yeah, we're cannibalisms. And he's like, do you guys know when you're eating human meat? And she said, some do, but most don't. She said she didn't. Her family didn't know. She said her family was wealthy enough. They had enough. They didn't have to eat human meat. But you go to some food markets, the same way around here. If you go, if you know, if there's a Whole Foods near you, or there's a Wegmans, you're fine. You're in a really nice area. Everybody has a tech job. Everybody's like a doctor or an architect or a lawyer. You're doing well. You're fine. Everyone's making good money. But if you go to somewhere and you see like a Shoppers, you could be in a rougher area, or like a Safeway. You could be maybe not a rough area, but you're getting into a rougher area. A Stop and Shop, a 7-Eleven where the milk is picked up by everybody. She was saying how there's the same thing. There's food markets there where it's a mutual agreement not to buy, or it's a mutual agreement not to talk about the meat being sold there because it is human meat. And you can't tell the difference all the time. But she said, absolutely, there's human meat that gets sold there. So, what do you do naturally when you hear a podcast that makes you have to pause 4 or 5 times, makes you sick to the stomach, makes you sad, makes you feel incredible for where you live, makes you feel incredibly lucky, puts things in perspective? What do you do naturally if you feel that way? Well, you go ahead and order the book. So I went ahead and ordered the book, and it's a short book, and I have so many books I have to read, but I'm starting to see the issue with reading books. You can never read books quick enough, and it's frustrating. And I think I might actually start doing audiobooks so I can double down on the books I read, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books just right here that are nonfiction, and I have 4 up there that I want to eventually read. So I have 12 books I need to read. Plus, I just ordered this one from Yeonmi Park that I'm gonna read. But I had to read that book, and I'm going to. I don't know how much I'm gonna do because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want like Penguin Publishing to like sue me. That would suck. But I think I might read like paragraphs from it. And this is a book I know that once I pick up, I most likely won't be able to put it down. The last book I read, The Gulag, it took me about a month. It took me about a month. I brought it down to the lake. I opened up the book for the first time at the lake. It took me about a month to read. Now, that's still good for like me overall because I've only been reading for like 3 years, and the first book I ever read before 2 years ago when I started reading was a Malcolm Gladwell book, and so besides that, I never read a book from front to cover in my life, or front to end, whatever it is. These books are so gonna fall and just crush me, and hit the candle and light the house on fire, and we're gonna die. But it's definitely it's definitely gonna be a hard book to read, but it's gonna be a book that I feel like I need to read. I feel it's weird. I don't feel guilt for a lot of things, right? Because I don't do wrong. Like I don't go out. I don't hurt people. I'm not trying to make people sad. But I do feel like this internalized, it's not because of pressure from the public. I just feel like I can do better in my situation. Being who I am, first of all, I was born in the United States, which is a leg up already, right? Like if you're not born in the United States or you're not born in Europe, you wish you can escape, right? There's a reason why there's a huge influx of immigrants, Mexicans and El Salvadorians and Guatemalans coming to America. It's not because like the sun shines less here. No, it's because we have a better economy. No, it's because we have better freedom. No, it's because we have less violence. There's a reason why when dictators fall apart, like in Syria, back in Obama days, there's a reason why they all come to the United Kingdom, why they escape to countries in Europe, why they escape to the United States. There's a reason why when the Jews left after World War II, they came to New York City. Like, there's a reason for this. And I think this is one of the things that kind of is upsetting when people bash America so much. Well, there's a reason why people come to America. So and the reason why is for freedom. And I think it's my job to educate myself on places that aren't like America and learn about them, learn about the people, learn about the cultures, so I can change my perspective on the way I view America. Because I just get in my car and I go to work and I make money, I come home. And I just do that every day. But the biggest choices I make are what job, how much do I want to get paid out of college? Those are, do I want to sleep in this bedroom or do I want to sleep in the guest bedroom? Do I want to upload 1 podcast a week or 2 podcasts a week? What company do I want to invest my money in so I can make more money? That's my life. And I don't feel guilt, but I feel like I need to learn more about the hells of the world, the suffering of the world. So I do that. And so I listen to this podcast, and I ordered her book, and I'm really excited to read. I'm definitely going to read parts of it on the podcast, and I'm going to talk about it on the podcast. And I'm really excited to go through that trip and suffer. I'm excited to suffer as I read that book, because it's going to be a hard book. It's not going to be an easy book to read. Assuming just from what I've heard her on Lex Friedman, I've heard her on Rogan, I've listened to her a little bit. I've heard her a little bit on Jordan Peterson. I haven't listened to that one fully. It was harder to understand. I don't know it might have been an earlier episode, but her English just wasn't as like on point as it was in the other episodes. And also like the audio was horrible. I could barely hear Peterson. Anyways, I'm going to read the book and I'm going to talk about it on the podcast, and I'm very excited about that. Like, my podcast is slowly just becoming like a read along. But that's it. We're fat. The country's fat. We're always going to be fat. We're not going to fix that until we can get a pill that makes us lose weight. And we do. It's called meth. It's called Adderall. Just give every obese I think they do treat. Is Adderall prescribed for obesity? I'm telling you, man, you won't ever find one fat meth head, I can tell you that. Yeah, I guess it is. Both turn into Adderall for weight loss. I don't think you should do it. It's probably not a good idea, but I'm not a doctor, so I'm barely a bachelor's degree. Why do they call it a bachelor's degree? That's a fascinating name. Associate's degree. Associate sounds more official than bachelor. Master sounds like a little outdated. Maybe we shouldn't say master degree anymore. I don't know. I guess you mastered the subject. It's not like you are a slave owner. Master bedroom sounds wild. That's a crazy one. That's one I'm willing to like throw out. We should probably stop saying master bedroom. Just the big bedroom. Just a big one. You're not a master anymore. I mean, some people might be, but I'm not. Anyways, and if you are, you're a piece of shit. Don't do that. They have really fucked up videos of like, you can see like a slave trading block in like Somalia, stuff like that, where they like trade slaves. Like they still do that in a lot of countries. Anyways, okay, I'm digressing. Thank you guys so much for listening to episode 216 of the Michael Life Show. I'll go ahead and catch you guys on episode 217 on Thursday. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. Happy hump day. And I'll see you guys soon.